Hello, hello. Good Monday to you. I am showing a lot of cards right here. This is not a Type 1. I know. Surprise, surprise. Y'all remember my roots. Type 2 player at heart. Still a Type 2 player. Um, so I wanted to show a Type 2 deck that I showed on the Discords, but I wanted to do a more thorough breakdown. I was talking to Mr. Chambers, the J, and we were talking about Type 2, and he was saying, it's expensive. And what I like about Jay is he can have his opinion, but then you can bring up a point, and he's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. And that's always good to be like that. And especially if someone has a lot of experience in one area, like Jay's very good in Type 2. But my opinion on the player getting into Type 2 is no longer the how expensive it is. It's just intimidating. It is seeing all these cards in the deck building aspect. Like your good has to be equal to your good and your evil has to be equal. Your dual brigades you can only have two of. Your anything above dual brigades you can only have one of. Oh, what are you doing? And just different deck building rules in general. So it's the deck building in all these cards that's intimidating rather than the sheer price of it anymore. Because you don't need fours and threes. Like those are ratios of the past. And then as more cards were in the card pool, especially more cards that were good, you saw a shift in Type 2 of more ones and twos, and you can see that shift really start. The ratio used to be 5-5-5-3 on enhancements, and that's back when you could have 5 of each card, and it was 5 of one enhancement, usually Reach of Desperation, 5 of another, Authority of Christ, 5 of another, Provisions, and then 3 something else, like Great Faith. But yeah, so decks used to be like 5-5-5-3. Same with defense too. And then that started turning. I'm not going to take credit. I know Jay's definitely said I came in and shifted ratios in Type 2. I play more characters, less enhancements, and I didn't maximize enhancements all the way. Justin was really good in the past about just having like a one of that he needed in situational play, and Jaden also learning from Jordan and Justin of not needing necessarily just max of everything. Now it's four max of a card. But yeah, I think the deck building is overwhelming for players to get into. And I would just say try it. It's really fun. I don't know if I said this earlier that I shared this deck on a Discord and Jaden said like Type 2 decks are a thing of beauty, and they are. Just seeing the majority one brigade and the balance of good and evil, it's I really like it. So what does this deck do? I always say know your deck, know what it does, know what it's supposed to do, and maximize what it's doing. Card synergy is really big for me. If you're maximizing a card's value, let me take it. I think I have 2 Golgothas. If you're maximizing a card, yeah, 102 baby, then you know what it's doing, but your deck is using that card to its full capabilities or potential. So a lot of people will just play the cross as, yeah, you're restricting dominance, or you're tossing negate, but they're doing it on one side of their deck and not both. So this deck doesn't necessarily look at it up front. Maybe you have noticed already, but this deck in general, this is a newly modified Fight by the Numbers banding deck. That is all it is. So we use the Cross and Colosseum with big dudes in battle. Orange has always played big dudes, with negates. When Gospel came in, we tried to bring in a different theme, and a lot of people get stuck on the placing, just being like, oh, it's not really, like it's tough to get the placing to work and all that, but you need to look at the placing as a support mechanic rather than the focus. Your focus should still be big characters in battle with protection and negates, because that's always good. Your place should just be here and there, and you're trying to use your placement cards for strategic purpose and leverage, i.e. Destructive Sin and Hate the Light, to where you have specific place cards to where they hinder the opponent. And then Beelzebub doesn't need to pop everyone you want. Like, you have 2 Sordid Spirits, so you strategically place Sordid Spirit, and Beelzebub, boom, blows them up. You don't need to always just completely boa constrict their territory with place cards. They are support mechanic, in my opinion. And we have 4 Blasphemies because we get out Blindness and Red Dragon. We want both of these cards, Blindness and Red Dragon, as we have a big character with negates. We also like to band, so Beelzebub, Red Dragon, Abaddon. My favorite band is Beelzebub with Evil Armor, which is very underrated. I'll get to that in 1 second. Beelzebub to Red Dragon, also with Evil Armor, or Abaddon with Evil Armor. So we have 2 Evil Armors here. Evil Armor is underrated because I think people look at it from a weird conditional protection when you need to be looking at it from, this is a look at the top X, limit 6, and we have our 6. We don't always have it out, but it doesn't matter. It takes up to 1. Not evil card, it takes up to 1. So I can go Evil Armor on Beelzebub, Evil Armor on Red Dragon. Heck, I can bring in another Evil Armor and have Abaddon. And I just went top, essentially 16, and I got to take 3 cards. That's very, very good. Now, if I was doing that, I would bring in another Evil Armor and a couple more Gospel, and we'd probably take out, I hate to say it, but we take out the non-orange just to keep Fallen Star's unity. So Simon, 2 Judean mediums come out for probably 2 Gospel characters and an Evil Armor. And you're just grabbing you're ripping through your deck and grabbing whatever you want every time you block. And then you have Fallen Star that's always maintains unity. That's really, really good. So, and maybe that's better than having the potential CBN stuff. I would argue it probably is. Fallen Star O is working, and having the Evil Armor and grabbing everything, that really makes up for where this deck lacks in resources at times. So, alrighty. So how is it a by the numbers deck? By the numbers banding, we do want to hit the blindness and have all the protection, and we have our negates. But if you look, the only card that's CBN is Deteriorating Condition. We only have 1. Because we have 2 Cross and a Colosseum, and we're trying to get to that. We have Abaddon, Table of Demons, and 2 Crosses and Colosseum. So we have ways and different options of what we can get. So we only have the 1 Deteriorating Condition. Other than that, everything's mostly played in battle as an interrupt or negate. So big characters, banding, Evil Armors, getting my resources and negating you. And you can't do anything CBN. It's really good. And when you look at the good, it's the same thing. I have both 24 Elders and Lazarus to negate. I also have Mary, the Restored. So I have 3 characters that negate in some capacity. Lazarus and 24 Elders are my favorite because I get the band. It's CBN. Lazarus heroes are... Bethany heroes cannot be negated in battle. So I have a CBN. 24 Elders is nice because it's a 12-12. I don't have a ton of artifacts, but it's okay because I have 2 Cross and 2 Covenants. I'm not always hitting 24 Elders. I'm more so bringing in Lazarus. And then Reassurance of Jesus is negate evil cards in battle. And then if you look, every single one of my cards interrupts and does something. So the Fight by the Numbers banding, I either have a big band with the Bethany trio, or I have a big band with Empty Tomb, or I just band them all in. And then Cross is up. So characters that scare me are Nicodemus and Simon the Magician, stuff like that. Um, so what I do is I brought in Holy Grail because I know my deck and I want to convert those characters. So I don't get to look at their hand a lot with this offense, so I don't know if they're holding a Nicodemus in hand. And if they are, guess what? They got to block with them from hand. And once they put them down, my Holy Grail hits. So they could get a pretty devastating block if they hold Nicodemus. So now you know. Um, so let's see. What else do we do really well? We band, we toss, we negate everything. We have 3 hospitalities in Bethany, and hospitality in Bethany gets hospitality in Bethany. It's nice. And what we're doing is we're taking, with Child is Born and hospitality, we are taking a nativity hero from reserve or a white gospel card from reserve. So, taking nativity, like we go straight to Gabriel. That is really nice. Banding in Gabriel is really nice. We get the negate, and then we're going to go. We usually don't need to get anything with our deck here, but we can because Gabriel can take a silver gospel card, which is Resurrection Revealer from deck. So you can band in Gabriel, activate his ability first, and then and go from there. But you got to band in all your targets off Child is Born first, so it's not like you're going to take with Gabriel and then band. Most of the time when I band in Gabriel, I'm going to hit your deck. Like I'm going straight to a dominant. That is really, really good. Which also brings me to Magnificate. Discarding an evil card from a reserve or discarding a good card from reserve is really good. If you look, there's key cards. You're always going to have key cards in your reserve. Some people play, with Saul of Tarsus, and you have your blocks in your reserve. Even in Type 2, you're going to have a bunch of good stuff in your deck. But if I can reserve your cards with Gabriel, and then I can just Magnificate them away for free, it's just a star, that's really good. Or the fact that I can get rid of an unsuccessful for, as an example, is so strong. This is already an interrupt. For this offense, this is an interrupt. It reserves evil characters in battle. And the point is when you're banding and you have Mary in battle, and then you turn off everything, whether it's negating enhancements, like just in case we bring in Mary the Restored, I still get Magnificate as a CBP. So, really good in that aspect. And maybe Nicodemus needs to be in here as a neutral. Like I have 102 cards, so maybe he comes in as a hero. I don't know. So yeah, we like to band, reserve their stuff, discard the stuff that I reserve with Gabriel, which is usually dominance. Puts me at a huge advantage. Also, if the cross is always up, I don't really care about dominance, and I can just go to your best enhancements. So, really good in general. I like to get out cards from my reserve and use them later on that I don't need right away. That's kind of the point of the reserve. But Reassurance of Jesus can get both my Legion and Chamber, and it feels a little niche to me. Getting out Reassurance to get out Chamber and getting out Legion of Angels, because they're just a Gospel Angel. I don't really have a great way other than Gifts of the Magi. So I have thought about if that's worth it or not, but the fact that I can just put down Chamber of Angels, keep my Angels going, and negate opponent's evil cards in territory, which I have Elizabeth as well. So maybe I don't need this. Yeah, that's probably bad. Yeah, alright. You guys are right. This should come out, and Hospitality of Bethany gets white gospel cards from reserve. I should just bring in more white gospel cards for the reserve. As much as I love Chamber and Legion to keep Gabriel and my Angels out, they are in no way a focal point of this offense. They're not liabilities for Choose the Rescue either. that guy can be. That guy actually is. So, because you choose Gabriel, he bans to my entire offense. You choose Resurrection, you exchange. Same with Angel of the Winds. So, all right, we'll bring in 2 white gospel cards in reserve right here and go from there. Yeah, so as for the rest, like the cross is always active, and I am just negating everything on good, and none of your CBN stuff work. And I try to negate what I can on evil, and also maintain Colosseum and cross. But if you'll notice, my everything's a negate or an interrupt. That also goes right into cross Colosseum. Other than that, it pretty much plays straightforward. You just get out a hero and you have an enhancement. If you happen to get Hospitality and Bethany first turn, that's okay. So what we need is heroes for turn 2. Like maybe you don't attack that turn, and that sucks. But you always want to attack first turn if you can. So maybe we just bring our 2 heroes in reserve, and that's the whole point, is so we have a good attack turn 2 if we draw into a Hospitality of Bethany. So I will do that now. And I like the Annunciation. Like we have the Nativity Heroes. It's another negate cards in battle that is good. We just don't really care to grab a dominant from deck. That's as weird as that says, but cross is always active. But maybe if we have Colosseum out, then we turn down the cross and, drop our doms. So maybe that stays. Since Elizabeth does Chamber of Angels, it's nice to have room in the reserve. And you get to just take a card from reserve. I like Baptism of Jesus, but I don't know. You get the Resurrect a New Testament Human hero is really good in this offense. And then Convert an Evil Human or Underdeck an Evil card. CBN by Lazarus. I don't like that it says CBN in this deck. I like that it says CBN on the card. I get the bounce regardless of protect, which that could be really good. I don't really care so much about protection going up against me, because I even if they're CBP, like I have 2 He Is Risens and 3 Magnificates. That's really, really good. He Is Risen in this is insane. Like if you don't negate my He Is Risen, then I'm going to set aside everyone in your territory, all your evil characters. Don't know what else. You may take a good Gospel Fortress from deck, or resurrect any number of heroes from each player. And then you get the Paralyzer bounce. You get to set aside all evil characters for X turns. Not sure what we would have in here. I think you just go to heroes, to be honest. And I think we just double up on the Lazarus, so we always have the Lazzy. And don't know what else I would put there. You know what? I don't need to right now. I'd probably do maybe a Lost Child Found or another Reassurance of Jesus. Maybe the Magnificate. Yeah. Probably a Magnificate there. Anyway. So yeah, by the numbers banding. With battle winners. My battle winners work in battle. Yours don't. It's CBP, not CBN. So Cross is going to toss all your stuff if you try CBN stuff. If you have a hero for the enhancements that makes them CBN. You got to get one good block off me because or get rid of my Holy Grail because I'm gonna try to convert them. Yeah, it's a pretty solid deck. It's really fun. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. It's by the numbers banding pretty much everywhere with a big protection in characters. So what I can do is save. I'll do a quick run through. Oh, what's the background? What's that? The empty tomb? Little grainy. Boom. So what we do here, we have Star of Bethlehem. I wasn't sure if this comes in or out, but I mean, when you can go straight to Gabriel and you have some other ways to heroes, it's not bad. I feel like it's gonna just be sitting in my hand though a lot of times, especially when I get it early. What am I gonna do there? So I was thinking it might come out. And that brings the deck to 101. I take out an evil card. It's 100 cards. Yeah, we got all our stuff we don't want early, right? But we did get gates. We don't need to put down gates right away. So I would Resurrection Revealer is awesome to get because I can exchange right away. You can go to the Resurrection and then get another hero out that way. I want to do that up front, but it's nice to know. And I can get an Empty Tomb hero, which usually it's Joanna, but I don't like having to convert to draw for this. That's a tough one. Because you're going to get the if block from hand. So then you can take a New Testament good card from deck. And I was showing, whenever Chris Fashman and I were talking about this deck, he was like, yeah, what do you do when you're converting? You don't have any clay. I was like, usually you're banding and the convert is optional. Yeah, it's your benefit, but it's the optional convert. So it's not like you have to, like Joanna, you're going to want to, but oh well. So I think Mary's the one you go to first. So then they block from hand, and we're not going to convert to negate, but we get the block from hand, and we get to take a New Testament card. Really solid. You can take whatever you want. And I think for the first turn, do you just go to the kill card? Do you just go Angel Lord before the cross comes out and be reckless? Depending on what the evil character is, yes. But usually you just want to keep Angel Lord for later. So I think we'd probably try to go to Magnificate. And hopefully they would have initiative first and, we get the battle. Who knows? You play that differently, whether it's what evil character blocks or not, or if you just go for Angel Lord and immediately put pressure on them. Because if you get the kill, it's another block from hand potentially next time, but either way, that's reserved. I do like keeping Magnificate for bans. You'd put down Gates of Hell, and you would go on with your life. And yeah, once again, you got you may negate and reserve an evil card or neutral card in territory. This works phenomenally in the Empty Tomb. You may take a star card from reserve, is I think what we do right away. If they put down an evil character, you can hit them with some early pressure right away. Boom, Holy Grail, they're converted. They have to have 3 evil characters, Like you're going to Holy Grail one, you can marry the other. Either way, if they usually when you see Empty Tomb, you're going to put evil characters down. and then you play into your advantage. So you would probably negate and reserve something they have in a territory, whether it's their artifact or evil character. The play would be Holy Grail, the evil character, reserve their artifact or neutral card, whatever. You may take a start card from reserve. This is where pretty much we go right to hospitality. It'd be nice to have Child is Born in there, right? We will pretty much always get initiative here, so we can do one. We get to take a white card from reserve. Probably just go straight to Lazy. Convert for the draw one. To negate evil cards, draw one. And then you don't need to convert here. You're just bringing in for more numbers. So you'd have a band that negates first turn or second turn. I think with enough numbers too. That early, that's pretty good. We're soul droughting. Yeah, after that, we don't have our Gospel Angel, but we would definitely go get it here. New Covenant goes to Child is Born. Now it's tough for them. They can't put anything down because, like, Mary being white and not converting is so good in a white offense. Like, a lot of people play Mary and Clay, and they should also do that. But when I don't convert her and I can literally just reserve any evil or neutral card in your territory every single turn, that is so insanely strong. Unity, Gospel. So once again, like, if you put a character down, Mary's going to reserve it, or I'm going to Holy Grail it. You keep them in your hand, then I get the block from hand. Now, I'd probably just continue to go to Mary and get out my resources. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then you block again. And now I get to take Gabriel. And ban to any number of New Testament heroes. The only thing is we can ban to, let's just say, 1, 2, 3, and ban in Gabriel. They're all Empty Tomb heroes, so if you flip, she negates characters except Empty Tomb and enhancement. So we don't. And Mary's CBN, Gabriel's CBN, so it just negates the enhancement, and Gabriel gets kicked out. But Gabriel can ban to Lazy, and then Gabriel would get kicked out if we want that. I don't think we do. I think what we do, the play here, is you bring in Gabriel first. He reserves an evil card from their deck, so he immediately goes to Christian Martyr, 3 Woes, like, that's so strong. And then you go to Resurrection Revealer. Now you can exchange here or keep them in battle, because you're negating except Empty Tomb. So now that you have another Gospel hero out, you're negating their neutrals. But if you exchange, you can go to Joanna and convert for a draw 2. I'd rather keep them in there. Gabriel does get kicked out because we are going to convert this card to negate characters except Empty Tomb and enhancements. And then, that would bring everyone out. Uh-oh. Did I do the misplay? Because then if I'm negating, they're all coming out. So that's my bad. So they all stay. Yeah, that's fine. They all stay, and then if anything, I have an interrupt to back them up. So that's what I would do. Not convert. Keep Gabriel in. I have the interrupt, and I have bounce up to 3, so I can get Lazzy back. Whoops. This offense makes you think. Oh, we don't have Herod's Temple in the deck. Well, it's 102, so we'll get that in there. Put down the Thief, and we're good to go. Let's just say there's a Lost Soul out there for them to attack. Jiminy Crickets. We can go to a generic demon from deck. And it could be... Who would we want here? You can go to your generic demon. You can go to Messenger of Satan. You can go to your Restless Spirit. You can go to your other one that takes an orange enhancement from deck. Or we block with the Sorted. We get the place. And then you can bring in Prince of this World as well. I think that's what we would do. We get the place, we negate, we bring in Prince, pass a Nish, probably go straight to a Blasphemies because we already have Blindness in our hand, and we're going to want our Red Dragon. I need one more Alt Border, Red Dragon if anyone has it. I will pay. No, and we still have the Blindness if we want. Or / need, because that kicks back our dragon, so we don't want to use it. But a protection with a negate is usually good early on. Oh, what do you know? We got our other one, which is fine. I don't know if we're doing any searching from deck this turn, because I was going to say we can just top deck an Evil Fortress from deck, which is Colosseum. That kind of gets us where we want. I think we do that here. Top deck and Evil Fortress. And now it's upkeep, nothing. And we have 2 Nativity Heroes. I know this isn't ideal, but we can get the draw. Now, when we go to here, control a Meek Hero to draw 2. So we can put down Lazzy. I don't like that, but I can bounce him. And we can play Star of Bethlehem for 2. 1, 2. So I can activate this star ability, and I can activate any other star ability that I have anywhere else, which will give myself a draw 4. So I get to activate Star of Bethlehem for a draw 2, and then I get to activate Hospitality and Bethany with Lazzy down as Meek and get the draw 2. Not bad, you definitely want to hit that for more later on, but we still get our Colosseum, and we still have our New Covenant, and we have our Reassurance. So we go to New Covenant. I kind of like having good seed, from reserve. But I think we go to deck here and go right back to Hospitality. And I think we go right back to Mary. And now that we have our Colosseum as our kind of like blanket protection for ourselves, nothing CBN, we can kind of go in and just negate evil cards in battle. So, and we can still take a good gospel card from reserve. And we still have our band. So, let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. Nicodemus definitely should have been in here. They are Empty Tomb Hero. That draws nothing in this deck. So it's just CBN banned. Okay. So we would want to probably want to negate evil cards in battle and bounce all Meek heroes, and then take a good gospel card from reserve. And now, like, I'm still hitting your territory with Mary. And now everything's negated for them. And now I can hospitality. I almost feel like you just put the Bethany trio in reserve. Sheesh. I mean, that's the whole point. Hospitality and Bethany. You put the Bethany trio in reserve as well as main deck. I mean, I can just continuously get a Bethany hero from reserve. Like, Annunciation comes out. Yeah, I think that's the move. So we already have a Lazarus. The Annunciation's out, and look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 7, and a Judas. Yep. So there you go. Your Bethany trio's in your reserve, as well as your main deck, and maybe it doesn't need to be in main deck anymore. And that's why we play these decks before going into video, right? But yeah, so then we would at this point have 1, 2 Bethany trios or Bethany heroes in battle. So we'd be getting draw 2s and hitting their hand. That's really good. Of course, you bring in, it's anti-hero, so you bring in Gabriel. We like having Resurrection Revealer. We're already negating evil cards. We don't need to use Lazarus to convert. We can just get the draw 1. We can get out a dominant. We're negating, I don't know. We just bring in one other card just in case for numbers. I highly doubt we would need that though. So we can just take a dominant from deck. A good gospel dominant. So I mean, it could be Crowd's Choice. It could be Son of God that we have in our hand. Of course, Resurrection. But the fact that you can just take Crowd's Choice and then essentially get anything you want is really good. So yeah, you're just consistently going out with Mary, and maybe we need another Mary in this deck. Maybe Mary goes in the reserve as well, because that is brutal. But you could always use Star of Bethany to activate Lazarus, his star ability, and get your Mary back. Because that's pretty much the move. Over and over again, Mary. They have to block from hand. Yeah, that's about it. You Son of God. Probably put our armor on Red Dragon. And it'd still be a 2. Like, you still get to look at 2 and take. So yeah, I would add another, maybe Gospel Angels or Gospel Demons, take out the pale green, go to more evil armor with the band, because that's just really good. Sets up your whole deck. Like looking at the top 18 and taking any 3, essentially, is really, really good. Lazarus, why do I keep saying Lazarus? The Bethany trio goes in reserve. Maybe another Mary in reserve, or more ways to marry. We want her turn. Well, yeah, we don't need more ways to marry if she's in the reserve, because hospitality. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You want to keep banding. You're negating all their stuff. And then if like, Mary's not your only hero, but you have your Empty Tomb to where you can manipulate the battle as you want. If you got Mary and Holy Grail going, like, they have to block from hand, then you just control it how you want. So I don't need to really play through this. Type 2, it takes a long time. A lot of battles, a lot of getting to an area. I forgot I need to add Herod's Temple before I forget. Oversight on my part. So, yeah, that's it. It's a little bit of how it plays. It's good at getting out what resources it needs. By the number banding, big protection. If you're blocking, like Beelzebub, Evil Armor, Prince, all that's really good. So yeah, that's it. Hope you all enjoyed a little Type 2 video. I'll probably do Gospel Type 2 decks, like GOC, with other cards. But Thieves and Type 2 is really good. A lot of people have asked me about Gray, whether it's Roman Pharisees or more of a focal point on Pharisees. I think the Entrapping Pharisees in Type 2, with Plotting Pharisee and Gathering the Sanhedrin and the Scribe and all that, is insanely fun. When you can band in different Pharisees and Sadducees, and you play with like 2, maybe 3 Meek Souls, because your one Pharisee plays a Meek Soul for benefits, and then your Sadducees like hides it. It's really easy to get them all in battle. So I can't wait to show that defense on Type 2. And yeah, Thieves are awesome as well. And then Herods in Type 2, pretty brutal. Just because they keep popping out Herods, and it's just their characters are tough to get around. So I'll make some more Type 2 decks. Hope y'all enjoyed. A little 40-minute video, more of a deck review because it's Type 2. So hope y'all enjoyed. I'll make a few edits to this deck, and I don't need to re-release it. It's all out there on Discord. So hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.